Hello friends, Adam here with FED. Today we're going to be talking about the GBA games and why I think they are not very fun. And I don't want to say not very fun, but essentially I want to say why I think they are less impressive than the games that came before it. But before we get started with that, please make sure to stay tuned or subscribe to the channel so you don't miss tonight's live stream. We'll be starting at 6 p.m. Pacific time, so don't miss out on that. But we are going to talk about GBA games now. So this is Fire Emblem 6, the first game for the Game Boy Advance, the first game to be developed without Shozu Kaga's input at all, right? And you look at it and you think, huh, this is an alright map. It's actually pretty funny. Someone pointed out the other day, and it's like pretty spot on actually. If you rotate this map 90 degrees, it almost matches up perfectly with chapter 1 of FE1 or FE3 book 1, which is pretty funny because this game is a total rip-off of that game. But anyways, so this is what you got. It's pretty fit. It's okay. You got an interesting group of party. 3 characters that are basically the same class. Whatever, that doesn't matter all that much. Have an archer guy, which is fun. We have boars. Who doesn't love boars? And of course we got Roy, who I think is better than people give him credit for. I don't know. Still not great though. And at first glance, this is fine. But then we go take a look at another game. And if you didn't know anything about Fire Emblem, what I'm about to show you, you would think that you would 100% think that this is a sequel or came after the GBA games. Based on mechanics, maybe not graphics. But we have what looks, on surface level, sort of similar to what we had with the Binding Blade. We have our main Lord guy, Leaf, who's actually pretty similar to Roy, all things considered. We have like a horse guy, we have another horse guy, we have a really strong unit, kind of like Marcus and Avel, and all that. But first thing you notice is the map is a lot more intense. There's a lot more enemies here. I mean, they're all stupid weak, like anyone can take them, but there's a ton of them, so it looks way more intimidating, right? Way more intimidating. And then if you look even deeper, there's more. There's a whole second page here. And we have things called skills or abilities in 3 houses now. This is, it almost feels like it doesn't affect the game all that much, but it does enough to where it makes every character feel just like that much more unique. Aside from like weapon ranks or whatever else, what's the difference between characters like Lance and Alan in FE6, right? And there's more to it as well. There's like FCM, which you see up in the top right corner. FCM is follow-up critical modifier, which is a whole other mechanic that we won't talk about. But there's just so many mechanics in Fire Emblem. This is Fire Emblem 5 3776, the game that just came before Binding Blade, that got removed for, maybe it was hardware limitations or whatever else, but it still just feels kind of lazy, or just like really uninformed, a really bad decision to take out all that stuff and go back to the basics, And now, just beyond that, I want to talk about just maps in general. Just by playing through a bit of the first of each of these maps, and just to show how dynamic one is and how lame the other is, in my opinion. Again, this is all my opinion. I don't know. A lot of people are gonna be upset at me for this and disagree with me, but that's okay. If we just look at this first map, you're gonna hear my keyboard clicking because I'm playing this on my my Microsoft Game Boy Advance. I'm gonna be careful here. People might die. I don't really care. These animations are flashy. I'll give the GBA games that. The animations are super pretty, right? This is that's so fun. It's so colorful and happy. That's great. That's great. We're gonna turn it off for now, though. We're gonna speed up the game. So this first chapter, pretty basic, and I would argue it's kind of boring. Not much going on. It's literally just moving characters at just, I don't know, super basic objectives. Not a whole lot happens, right? I'm gonna speed it up just for the sake of my sanity. Marcus, go kill things, please. Oh no. That's actually kind of fun. Alright, so this map doesn't do anything else really. The only other thing is to go over here and get this chest, and otherwise you go up here and you fight people. It's a really boring chapter. It just is. And that's how I feel about a lot of FE6 in general. Not a whole lot going on. People are going to disagree with me on this, and that's fine. This is just an opinion, you know, those things that everyone has a different one, you know? It's great. But now I want to show off just the first couple turns of FE5, the game that came just before this one, and you would think that FE5 is the sequel. And again, might be hardware limitations or whatever else. I don't know as much about that as I could, but I think it's still a pretty sad change, all things considered. Let me resume. All right. So first thing you'll notice is there's tons of side objectives just in the first map. I understand that the first map isn't like totally indicative of an entire game, but in this case, I think it is oh, sick, and that's another fun mechanic, movement stars. Just like another thing they took out. Like, look at this animation here. Now, is it as flashy as the GBA games? No, but it gets the job done. So yeah, I do think the animation is a point in the GBA game's favor. But I don't know. I don't think there's a whole lot beyond that, to be fair. We're just gonna speed it up for the sake. All right, turn 2. We're introduced to archers, a new enemy type, which we don't really see on the other map. I think there's like one archer over there. But also, there's all these side objectives, these houses we want to go and rescue and save. Even some like cute little story bits where you can have like Orson over here run, or Ocean, or Ojane, whatever his name is. You have Orson run over here and rescue his own house and get a super special weapon and stuff, and things like that. There's capturing. So many things that this game does that they just forgot about in future entries of the game, of the series, which is just really disappointing. Particularly, I mean, the GBA games. The GBA games are disappointing, is all what I'm getting at. Now, again, please disagree with me in the comments. Please defend your favorite game ever. I am intrigued to what everyone will say to me about this one. But I just want to show off one more thing. That just makes this chapter way more interesting than... Continue practical. Makes this chapter way more interesting than, I would say, any of the first... Like, definitely the first chapter of Binding Blade, but I think it's more interesting than a lot of the chapters of Binding Blade, to be fair. I'll speed this up a little bit. Here, we already get 3 new characters. 3 new characters. And we just started playing the game. So our army's bigger. We have a more varied army, in my opinion. And it's not even, no, like we just do, I think. I mean, a lot of axe users, to be fair. Actually, now that I look at it, a lot of axe users. But still a more varied army with like some really interesting units with, again, more skills to mess around with. You have like this freaking weirdo. These stats, crazy. Squishy archer lady. But yeah, that's all just to say, the GBA games dropped the ball. The GBA games dropped the ball. I don't think that they really picked up where the series was going, and it set back Fire Emblem quite a few years in terms of getting to where it is today. I think we would have reached some sort of conclusion like 3 Houses sooner, and it would have been cooler if we stayed on this path. I don't know, but maybe it would have been more like what Kaga ended up making and going Tearing Saga, sorry, and then into Berwick Saga, and then I guess now Visteria. Regardless, I don't like the GBA games as much as I do other games in the series, but that's just me. It's okay, you can have a different opinion, but please, yell at me in the comments. Why am I wrong? Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, like the video, all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you later.